You know, I'm just grateful to have made it to this point. This has been one of the longest and most impactful years of my life, and y'all have played a humongous role in that. I wanted to make a video letting you guys know about the journey of me going from being unemployed to creating and releasing my own show. See, I used to work as a case manager for immigrants, and by December 2024, that job was going to be coming to an end. I had spent some time applying to different jobs, but honestly felt no excitement or passion for any of the jobs that I was applying for. The more time that passed by, the more anxiety I felt because I didn't know what the next step for me was going to be. Deep down, I honestly wanted to go on unemployment and pursue my dream of creating my own show for the next 6 months. I know to a bunch of y'all, especially my older audience, it might sound crazy to say, but I felt like I was running out of time to pursue this. I was at a crossroads for a while, not sure how those around me would take me going on unemployment, and not sure if the risk was even worth it. So I ended up getting another job afterwards. Everything in my soul was telling me to go on unemployment, but I ended up taking the safe route instead, just to lose my job a month later. It was a stay-at-home job, and I didn't really like it, honestly. After a few weeks, though, it felt like I was getting the hang of it, but I guess not enough because they sent me an email saying that they were letting me go. That was definitely one of the lower moments in my early adulthood. I had never lost a job before, or been let go for that matter. I felt a lot in that space and time. Disappointment, but also a huge relief. After the clouds parted, I sat up and realized where I was at and the opportunity in front of me. I felt that it was a sign from the universe, from God, whoever, that I should go out on unemployment and really chase this. I had gotten my LLC earlier in the year, so the first goal was at least trying to figure out how I was gonna get my money back. I applied for unemployment and the journey began. Now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was terrified. It was my first time being my own boss. It was my first time being my own reason why I got up in the morning. It was up to me to decide if I was doing enough and if this counted as a productive day. For a long time, it felt like I was just throwing things into the void and waiting to see what stuck, which is basically what being an entrepreneur is, until you start to develop a rhythm and see patterns. A question I had throughout the making of the Aura of Upstate project is if people were even going to care, or if there was an audience for it. I had a strong belief that this project could turn into something, but it wouldn't go as far if those around me didn't think so. So my focus shifted. I wanted to find my audience. I truly believe that there is something out there for everyone, so I wanted to find out who this project was for. I started watching videos on how to grow on social media, how to better communicate, how to tell my story in a more engaging way, and all that research led to my first viral video, especially by my standards at that time. I was blown away that so many people were engaging with the video and were excited to see more. So I took the elements of that video and continued to create others like it. I had been a few months into unemployment and hadn't really made any money for my business. I was getting restless and was unsure of what to do. That's when a friend of mine and guest on season 1 of the podcast, Patrick, suggested that I have screenings at his studio space, KBK Studios, and see if people would be willing to pay tickets to come watch the documentary and animated film. The only thing was that I hadn't finished the documentary yet. I actually had continued to record moments throughout the year related to the project and where it had taken me at the time. All that time later, since I had first got the grant, I still didn't know what to do about the documentary, but I needed to figure that out. I took what I learned and applied it to my own project. It turns out I had a lot more film than I thought I did. After painstakingly trimming it down and editing it, it was finally ready to be shown. I started promoting for my first screening and wasn't sure if anyone would even pay a ticket. It was a great feeling when I saw the first ticket purchase. It was a long time coming after months of losing out on money, losing out on opportunities, and feeling stranded at sea essentially. This felt like I was finally floating onto shore. I think around 12 to 13 people showed up for the first one. I was really nervous. It's a very vulnerable position to share your art with people, especially when it's one that you devoted so much time and effort into. People could just say it sucks and that's that. That's the contract you have to sign as an artist, and you've got to be okay with the pendulum swinging either way. The screening was a really cool experience, not only because the crowd had watched the film, but because of the Q&A session afterwards. It was really dope hearing their opinions about the film and the questions that it evoked out of them. Afterwards, I was excited that I finally had something to put in my bank account instead of takeout, and even more that I was able to create an experience for people to be a part of. I scheduled one for the following month and it sold out. That let me know that it was time to expand. I started looking up venues around upstate New York and was asking followers where I should go to next. I went on to sell out every single time at KBK Studios and did the same in Schenectady, and went on to have great turnouts in Buffalo, Syracuse, Albany, and Binghamton. Even schools such as Russell Sage and Dutchess Community College reached out to me to go and screen my project and talk to the students, which was an incredible experience. Throughout the journey, I was able to check off a couple of boxes, like being interviewed on a PBS show and being in a local newspaper, 2 feats that I've been dreaming of for a really long time that I was finally able to do. I will say that this was an exhausting and at times overwhelming experience trying to respond to everyone, manage the tour, promote on social media, DM people, stay organized, drive to all these locations, and a lot more behind the scenes. I really had to take time to prioritize my mental health, or I would have really fallen off. And yet this experience was truly amazing. It was an incredibly bittersweet moment when I was going back to my car after having my last screening at Cellar Human in Binghamton, New York. I was on my last legs for sure, so I was glad that I no longer had to continue promoting for the tour. But whenever I got to the screenings, it was more than worth it. I missed the tour so much. It was such a cool experience to be able to talk to y'all and see that I was able to create something that would bring community together in such a dope way. Along this journey of promoting season 1, I had started developing a small team. I met who would go on to be my producer, Bubba Willis, and my friend from high school, Sean Brown, offered to be my cameraman moving forward. I also have another producer who's been helping out remotely. They've all been huge assets to the team and will be much needed moving forward. Me and my producer Bubba hosted 2 online screenings where people from all over would be able to watch the film from the comfort of their own homes. It was really impressive because for one, it went well, and for two, there were people from all around the world like Germany, Brazil, and Australia tuning in, which was the goal, to educate people about upstate New York and to give them a reason to tune in if they weren't already tapped in. Season 1 of the Aura of Upstate project is officially out on my YouTube channel, and I feel so much euphoria in saying that I made my dreams a reality. Since the age of 10, the dream has always been to create my own series, particularly animated, and I've done that. 5 podcast episodes, a documentary, and an award-winning animated film all on my YouTube channel. I said this on my tour at every stop, and I'll say it again. Thank you for your time. As I've gotten older, I've realized the importance of time and how it's one of the few things that we never get back in this life. So for you guys to devote some of your time to this project, whether it be through watching the season, commenting on social media, engaging with the content, sharing the content around, or coming to see it in person on tour, thank you sincerely. Y'all played a very active role in making my dream come true, and that's gonna always stick with me. So what's next? Well, I made a show, and at the beginning of everything, you don't really know what you're doing. After watching season 1 a bunch of times, I'm very, very proud of it, but I see a lot of areas that I would like to add upon. So I've been working on a second season. While I was on tour, me and my cameraman had been traveling around shooting season 2 of the podcast. We have shot a majority of the podcast already and will be finishing the last couple soon. I also have the storyline figured out for what I would like to do with a second animated film. Making a show, especially one with animation, is costly and very time consuming. So if you'd like to support the continuation of this project and our stories, please consider joining the Patreon, where you will see behind the scenes footage of us creating season 2, director's commentary from season 1, involvement within the project, and more. I also have a merch shop where you guys can take a piece of the Aura of Upstate project home with you. Any way that you guys can support this project would be incredibly appreciated as an independent filmmaker who's trying to create something bigger than myself. Thank you for your continuous support, people. This is really dope. Here's to trying to bring season 2 to life. Stay tuned and stay ardent. Much love.